Nepal's small, medium enterprises, how to increase GDP and globalize. Shanker Singh. Since 1990, the position of small and medium enterprises has seen a gradual change in numbers, policies, production, and promotion. An open economic policy adapted by developed, developing, and least developed countries has had an impact on small and medium enterprises. It is worth mentioning that the World Bank has projected a sharp decline in the economic growth rate due to the corona crisis in Nepal. This sector, which has contributed to export growth and GDP growth, has been neglected. Small, medium, and medium enterprises, SMEs, have made a significant contribution to the GDP and provided employment to about 1.7 million people. Banks and financial institutions may also be reluctant to provide loans because of poor credit performance due to additional credit. Easy and simple access to credit may not be available. It is necessary to address this in the context of Nepal. The contribution of industry sector to the gross domestic product, GDP, is about 5.6%, of which about 90% is due to small, cottage and small-scale industries, according to a study by the Department of Industry. A recent government study found that large industries did not contribute significantly to the gross domestic product, GDP. Large-scale industries have to think about the fact that 90% contribution to GDP has been proved by the government study given by small, cottage and small-scale industries. According to the government study, over a period of 31 years, more than 6 lakh small, medium, and small-scale industries have invested more than 8 trillion rupees and more than 3.2 million people have found employment. This has been mentioned in the study conducted by the Department of Industry titled Small, Domestic, and Small Industries Statistics 2077/078. From the fiscal year 2046/47 to 2077/78, 6,02,921 small, medium, and small-scale industries have been registered across the country and an investment of 801.89 billion rupees has been proposed in those industries. It is said that 3.28 million people have been provided employment through these industries. In this context, the number of small, cottage and small-scale industries registered from the beginning to the end of the fiscal year 2077/78 is 178,662, 179,176, 177,779. There are 50,940 tourism-related, 9,608 construction-related, 583 energy-related, 483 mineral-related information and 412 information-related technology registered. According to the department, maintaining the registration means that the number of industries that have been cancelled without updating and the number of industries that have been cut off as per the demand of the industrialists has been reduced. The Department of Industry has been registering 8 types of industries including services, agriculture and forest, manufacturing, tourism, construction, energy, minerals and information and technology. MSMEs and MSME products in Nepal are interconnected. Micro, small and medium enterprises contribute significantly to the economic potential of countries and contribute significantly to poverty reduction through employment and income opportunities. Too many SMEs are taking advantage of their market opportunities. They do not have access to information on market development, prices, exports, and financial prospects. Despite advances in information and communication technology, basic technical prerequisites for access to information and knowledge have been established, but it is seldom used by many MSMEs, especially in the peripheral sector. The range of information offered by service providers in these areas does not meet the requirements of SMEs. The vast majority of entrepreneurs are informal micro and small enterprises. Major barriers to micro and small enterprises are the unavailability of markets. At present, the geographical distribution of export assistance is not sufficient. Because of this, the opportunity to reach the international market is reduced with the product of remote MSMEs. Therefore, Measures need to be taken to increase the access of rural SMEs to the international market. Policy bias in favor of big business and against small businesses has created a void in which growing enterprises face difficulties. Such problems in policy design should be addressed through appropriate measures. Policy bias in favor of big business and against small businesses has created a void in which growing enterprises face difficulties. Such problems in policy design should be addressed through appropriate measures. Among the industries registered from the beginning to the end of the fiscal year 2077/78 are 37,389 small-scale industries, 21,664 domestic industries and 428,590 small-scale industries. There are 36,804 private firms, 532 partnership firms and 38 private limited enterprises under small-scale industry. There are 19,275 private firms, 1,314 partnership firms and 1,075 private limited companies under the domestic industry. And under small-scale industry there are 382,065 private firms, 18,771 partnership firms and 27,755 private limited companies. The highest number of registered small, domestic, and small-scale industries is 32% in Bagmati and the lowest is 5% in Karnali. After that, 17% in Lumbini, 14% in Province 2 and 14% in Province 1, 11% in Gandaki and 7% in Far Western Province have registered small, home and small-scale industries. Numerically, there are 169,834 in Bagmati, 89,754 in Lumbini, 76,790 in Province 1, 73,978 in Province 2, 56,383 in Gandaki and Far West. There are 39,778 small and cottage industries registered in Karnali and 26,959 small, home and small-scale industries. With less capital and the ability of individual and small groups to run small, cottage and small-scale industries, the attraction of Nepali society is increasing. Similarly, women entrepreneurs have taken large loans to run small, home-based, and small-scale industries, according to the department. Business membership organizations seem to exist only in urban areas, but small and medium enterprise development requires these organizations to conduct their activities especially in strategic places. The MSMEs of Nepal, among others the main categories, food packaging, textiles, pearls, painting textiles and boutiques, textiles and tailoring, animal husbandry, carpet and pashmina weaving, cash crop farming, handicrafts bamboo, wood metal, clay, weaving, ceramics etc. Studies showed that lack of determination, will of the government and lack of political stability for the development of MSMEs in Nepal is acute and no effort should be spared to address it. Establishment of MSMEs is easy in Nepal as MSMEs are based on agricultural products. However, lack of transportation has made it difficult to distribute MSME products in Nepal. Exporting MSME products is more difficult as farmers have to work hard to transport goods. In the special perspective of Nepal and the SAARC region, MSMEs play an important role in creating national economy and employment and also in alleviating poverty. After signing the SAFTA agreement, there is provision for rules, origin, technical assistance, revenue compensation mechanism. But the SAFTA agreement does not cover the service sector. The service sector is growing by about more than 700% worldwide. MSMEs in the region are also affected by the lack of service agreement imbalances in the SAARC region. Countries in this region can reap many benefits in service sectors like telecom, ICT, tourism, financial sector etc. Countries in the region need to have a vision for MSME development and techno-entrepreneurship, where countries in the region can cooperate with each other for the mutual benefit of the countries in the region. The SAFTA agreement should specifically mention the production of small enterprises or small-scale industries, SSIs. Nepal's economic transformation attracted private and joint ventures to open up the financial sector in the early 1990s. As a result, the line of commercial banks, financial institutions, and cooperatives to invest in MSMEs was prominent. Due to the geographical location, there are additional problems in the export of Nepali goods to foreign markets. The long-term package to end the corona effect must not only offset the damage, but also radically transform some of the basic infrastructure of the economy to make tough decisions for sustainable economic development. For example, policy arrangements should be made to invest the capital that is in the government's coffers and cannot be spent annually in economic development, productivity growth, and job creation through the private sector. The government should end the practice of allocating budget every year in unproductive and unsustainable areas. Maximum facilities should be provided to small and medium enterprises. In order to support MSMEs and employees located outside the state's jurisdiction, they must first be pushed towards formalization. Complete tax exemptions for micro and small enterprises that earn less than the predetermined threshold amount and are more flexibly replaced by stricter rules are an example of systemic changes that could help transition to formalization. In addition, the government should redirect its resources to skills development programs, promote access to information technology and increase access to credit to increase the productivity of MSMEs, assuring them that when they convert to higher incomes, thereby maintaining greater financial stability. Entrepreneurs need to use their existing capital to run industries. Therefore, the government should guarantee the provisions mentioned for them, and the government has to introduce a provision for the entrepreneurs who have not taken loans yet and want to take loans, who can take loans at maximum interest rate at minimum percentage. Learning from India, the dependence of Indian economy on MSMEs is immense. In the case of Nepal, too, the informal sector has a large presence, and in the wake of the pandemic, the finance minister has informed the public that the ministry has decided to allocate 1.36 billion to invest in unlisted entities. Additional measures taken by India include wage subsidy, suspension of income/corporate tax, and provision of direct credit to MSMEs. In view of its affiliation with the WTO, both the private and public sectors need to pay special attention to the development of domestic and small-scale industries in order to increase the quality of goods produced in Nepal and emphasize on import substitution and export promotion through competition.